Some islands don't just take your breath away. They take everything and never give it back. The Senkaku Islands, 8 small, windswept islets in the East China Sea. Uninhabited, fiercely disputed, and shrouded in secrecy. For centuries, fishermen avoided their rocky shores, whispering of sudden storms and strange lights at night. Today, they are a flashpoint between nations, patrolled by coast guards and watched from afar. In 2006, Chen Yang, a 41-year-old adventurer and amateur marine biologist from Shanghai, became obsessed with the islands. He pored over nautical charts, read every scrap of news, and dreamed of being the first civilian to document their untouched ecology. Friends described him as restless, driven, and haunted by the idea of places the world had forgotten. Chen spent months preparing. He learned Japanese, studied weather patterns, and assembled specialized gear, waterproof cameras, satellite phone, emergency beacons. He kept a meticulous journal, recording every plan and backup plan. His final entry? "Tomorrow I go where few have dared." He traveled to Ishigaki Island, Japan, and quietly hired a local fishing boat. The crew, wary but intrigued, agreed to take him as close as possible under the guise of ecological research. They set out before dawn, the boat slicing through choppy waters as the sun rose behind them. The crew later recalled Chen's excitement and nerves. He checked his equipment again and again, barely speaking except to ask about the currents and the best landing spots. As the islands appeared on the horizon, jagged, forbidding, and silent, he grew quiet, staring into the mist. As they neared the shore, Chen donned his life vest, waterproof pack, and radio. The sea was rough, the wind sharp. The crew hesitated, but Chen insisted. He radioed a brief message. "Touchdown, it's quiet here. We'll explore Northeast Ridge before signal loss." The boat waited offshore, engine idling. For hours, they saw nothing but seabirds and swirling fog. The radio crackled with static. Then, silence. As dusk fell, the crew grew uneasy. They sounded the horn, but no reply came from the island. As night fell, the crew was forced to retreat. The next morning they returned, but Chen was gone. No footprints, no sign of camp, only the wind and the endless crash of waves. They reported his disappearance to Japanese authorities, launching a search that would span days. Helicopters circled overhead, Coast Guard vessels combed the waters. Divers braved the treacherous currents, searching for any trace of Chen or his equipment. News crews arrived, broadcasting live from the wind-swept rocks as rumors began to swirl. No wreckage was found, no body, just a single waterlogged camera lens, discovered floating miles to the south days later. The lens was cracked, its memory card missing. It was the only clue, if it was a clue at all. Theories multiplied. Some believed Chen had stumbled upon a secret military installation and was silenced. Others whispered of illegal fishing operations or even pirates. A few pointed to the island's history. Strange disappearances, unexplained lights, and stories of things lurking beneath the waves. Japanese authorities released a statement. No evidence of foul play, search ongoing. But online forums exploded with speculation. Some claim to have intercepted radio signals, garbled, desperate, and unintelligible, broadcast from the islands late at night. Chen's family traveled to Japan, pleading for answers. They distributed flyers, spoke to the press, and retraced his steps. His sister left flowers on the dock where he departed, staring out at the empty sea. Months passed. The official search ended, but the questions only deepened. Some divers who later visited the area reported hearing strange sounds underwater, metallic echoes, distant thuds, and once, a voice calling out in the fog. There were even claims that sonar recorded irregular biological movement in the region's trench system. Marine biologists speculated about unknown species, while others wondered if something else, something older, lurked in the depths. In the years since, the Senkaku Islands have remained off-limits to most. Patrol boats circle and the wind howls through empty coves. Chen Yang's name is rarely spoken, but among those who remember, his story is a warning, a reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved. To this day, Chen Yang's fate remains a geopolitical and personal mystery, a man who vanished into fog, politics, or something else entirely. The Senkaku Islands keep their secrets, lost between the tides and the silence of the sea. In 2011, Julien Marchand, a 33-year-old French diving enthusiast, arrived on Cuba's Isla de la Juventud. He was searching for more than coral reefs. He was chasing a legend. Julien was a seasoned diver, known among friends for his curiosity and relentless drive. He'd explored shipwrecks in the Mediterranean and braved cold Atlantic waters, but the stories he heard about this Caribbean island haunted him. Isla de la Juventud, Isle of Youth, is famous for its untouched reefs, sunken ships, and labyrinthine underwater caves. But locals whisper of lost divers, vanishing boats, and strange lights flickering beneath the waves. Julien spent months preparing. He studied nautical charts, read every account of the island's reefs, and contacted Cuban dive guides for tips. He even learned basic Spanish to communicate with locals. He booked a modest eco-lodge and chartered a small fishing boat. His goal? To document a newly rumored reef trench said to be deeper than any previously mapped in the region. Locals warned him about the Cueva del Silencio, the Cave of Silence, where, they said, the sea swallows sound and time. Julien listened, smiled, and made a note in his journal. On the morning of March 12th, witnesses saw Julien suit up, check his gear, and slip into the calm turquoise water. He waved to the boat captain, then disappeared beneath the surface. His dive log showed a plan for a 45-minute exploration, but after 90 minutes, with no sign of bubbles or movement, the captain grew anxious and radioed for help. The Cuban Coast Guard launched a search within the hour. Divers combed the reef, helicopters circled overhead, and local fishermen joined the hunt. But there was no sign of Julien, no bubbles, no gear, not even a single air tank. News of the missing diver spread quickly. Reporters arrived, interviewing locals who shared tales of other disappearances, stories of divers who vanished, and of strange currents that pull even the strongest swimmers away. Julien's family flew in from France, desperate for answers. His sister clutched his childhood photo, pleading with authorities and searching the shoreline each day, refusing to give up hope. For days, the search continued. Divers mapped every cave and crevice. Sonar scans revealed nothing but shadows. The only trace, a single fin found wedged in coral, far from Julien's planned route. Some speculated Julien became trapped in an uncharted cave system, his body unrecoverable in the limestone maze below. Others believed he was swept out to sea by a sudden current. But some locals whispered of La Sombra del Mar, the shadow of the sea, a legend of a spirit that guards the island's secrets, luring the curious into the deep. Weeks later, a local diver reported seeing bubbles surfacing near a reef long after the search had ended, suggesting Julien might have survived longer than anyone thought. The official investigation closed with no answers. Julien's family returned to France, leaving flowers on the sand and a note: "We will never stop searching." For Julien Marchand, Isla de la Juventud became more than a destination. It became a final descent into mystery, a place where the sea keeps its secrets and the silence is never broken. In 2017, Lene Christiansen, a 29-year-old Norwegian traveler, arrived on Thailand's famed Phi Phi Islands. She was searching for more than paradise. She was searching for herself. Lene had spent the past year traveling solo across Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, documenting her journey in a leather-bound journal and on social media. Friends described her as adventurous, introspective, and drawn to places where land meets sea. The Phi Phi Islands, turquoise waters, limestone cliffs, and a vibrant backpacker culture. Lene checked into a modest beachside bungalow, eager to unwind before returning to Oslo. She spent her days snorkeling in hidden coves, hiking jungle trails, and chatting with fellow travelers at beach cafes. Locals remembered her smile and her curiosity about island life. In the evenings, Lene wandered the bustling night markets, sampling street food and watching fire dancers perform on the sand. She wrote, "This place feels like a dream, alive, wild, and a little bit haunted." On March 18th, Lene was last seen walking barefoot along the shore, wearing a loose white dress. She spoke with a tattooed man near a beach bar, then disappeared into the warm night. Several witnesses recalled seeing her laughing with other travelers, her hair lit by firelight. Others remembered her gazing out at the dark sea, lost in thought. The next morning, her bed was untouched. Her passport, phone, and sandals remained in the bungalow. Lene had vanished without a trace. Thai police launched an immediate search. Officers and volunteers combed the beaches, scanned the jungle, and questioned tourists and locals. No one had seen Lene after midnight. Divers explored the reefs and coves. Helicopters circled overhead. Flyers with Lene's photo appeared in ferry terminals and on lampposts across the islands. Lene's parents and younger brother flew in from Norway, desperate for answers. They walked the beaches, spoke to the press, and pleaded for information. Her mother left flowers at the water's edge, whispering her daughter's name into the wind. Police considered every possibility: accident, abduction, voluntary disappearance. But there was no evidence, no witnesses, and no sign of struggle. Theories multiplied. Some believed Lene had wandered into the jungle and become lost. Others whispered about dangerous currents, or the possibility she had been taken by someone she met that night. Rumors spread quickly. Some said they saw a woman matching Lene's description boarding a ferry at dawn. Others claimed she was spotted in a marketplace in Kuala Lumpur weeks later. Each lead faded into silence. Lene's story became a cautionary tale among travelers. Posters with her smiling face still hang in the ferry terminal, a reminder of how quickly paradise can turn to mystery. Her family refused to give up. They organized search parties, hired private investigators, and retraced Lene's steps. Each day, the island's beauty seemed to mock their pain. As weeks passed, hope faded. The official investigation closed, but the questions only deepened. Lene's journal, found in her bungalow, ended with a single line: "Sometimes, the sea keeps its secrets." Some locals spoke of old island legends, spirits that lure the lonely into the waves, or a shadow of the sea that claims those who wander too far. Others dismissed such tales, but the sense of unease lingered. Divers who later explored the reefs reported hearing strange sounds underwater: distant voices, metallic echoes, and once, a woman's laughter carried by the current. To this day, the fate of Lene Christiansen remains a mystery. The Phi Phi Islands are as beautiful as ever, but for those who remember, her story is a warning, a reminder that even paradise has shadows. Some mysteries are never meant to be solved. On the Phi Phi Islands, the sea keeps its secrets and the silence is never broken. Chen, Julien, Lene, 3 travelers, 3 islands, no endings. Just questions that drift like tidewater, pulling us deeper into the unknown. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true stories from places paradise forgot. And remember, not all islands are escape. Some are endings wearing a smile.